Goddamn. All right, we're good?
Yeah, we good. Let's go. Give us the intro.
Whew. Intro voice. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to... What? Fuck you. God damn it. I wanted to get this first try. Fuck you.
Well,
Now I gotta cough again. Shut up.
Shut up now.
Shut up.
Sorry.
Stop breathing. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Gung-Ho Book Club, a fair college tribe of podcast featuring the thoughts of 3 online randos on books written by people who've done far more for universal literature than we can possibly hope to. Some of them, anyway. My name is Costin Becchiano, but you can call me Kazi. I've been running the Gung-Ho Geeks blog and my mouth in some capacity for over 7 years now, basically hobbying, hanging out with friends, and memeing. Joining me is my longtime friend and gaming partner Ian.
Ohayou gozaimasu.
Who also teaches the English how to properly speak their own language in his spare time, which is time spent not gaming. Our Master of Ceremonies for this venture is our resident West Virginian, Cowboy Cam Wooten.
Hello there.
He is a history teacher, nerd, and big game hunter, and we're hoping at least one of those traits will be of use to this venture. Fair warning, we're adults who like to hang out and use adult language together. We're here to read books and talk shit, and we're just done reading the second and third books of the Thongor series by Lin Carter. And this was I was supposed to say when they were first published and which versions we've read, but I forgot to edit. So it's first published in insert year here. The version we've read is the insert year here one. Copious amounts of nonsense follow and have started already. Take us away, Cam.
All right. So, do we want to recap briefly what happened in the first book, or what do we want to do with this?
Yeah, we might as well.
Sure.
All right. So Sherry the wizard didn't really hire. He just not Conan fell out of the sky in his backyard, and there was this world-ending plot where these dragon kings were going to wipe out the universe or something, and so they go on this merry adventure of getting knocked in the head between various locations, and they save the world with a magic sword.
Yay!
Is that a
Yeah,
fair?
that pretty much sums it up.
Yeah. Okay.
Sounds about right.
I did actually watch our previous episode of this before this, so that's why I remembered most of that.
Nice. I thought you'd reread the book, and I was going to congratulate you
Oh no!
for stomaching through it. But
Never rereading these garbage things again.
I think it's safe to say that none of us is ever going to revisit any of these fucking books.
No. Not happening. So yeah, book two. Let me pull my notes up here because I can't freeball this.
I just like to say that my first note of book 2 is a quote of Thongor's that is like, "Come, that is just like a woman, to weep and wail now that the peril is past." That's the first thing. That's the first takeaway.
Yeah,
book.
yeah. That I think that really kind of sets the theme pretty well.
And it only gets worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when I looked back at this, I don't remember why, but I know their ship is in the air and they're adrift, but I don't remember where they were actually going.
Away.
Away? Weren't they going to Sumiya's Puntanga place?
Maybe?
Right.
Yeah.
Because I know they were leaving Mountain of Plot, right, where thing happened.
Yes.
And that's about it.
Did they drop Sherry back off at the wizard lab?
Yeah, Sherry's firmly back in his mountain.
Okay, so maybe they're leaving Sherry's mountain to go to Patanga.
Right. I remember now, yes, because it ended with all of them in Sherry's man cave, saying how much they no homo love each other. Yeah, and then because we were talking about this in the episode as well, how Thongor's like, well, I guess I'm just gonna go wander, and Sumiya's like, well, I'm gonna cling to you like shit on Velcro, and then
and the other's guy like, well, I'm here, so might as well.
I just watched this podcast. How do I not remember this?
It's a trauma response,
I-
Cameron.
I think the leaving bit takes place in book 2.
Oh.
Does it?
So that's why you might not remember it from the first episode, because we only dealt
Oh,
with...
it's probably like a stupid prologue or something.
Yeah, it's like and they're off.
Yeah,
And-
you're
yeah.
right. Garbage.
So I think that's it.
Pretty much garbage. All right. Anyway,
So yeah,
they're leaving.
they're
Moving
leaving Sherry's Mountain,
Yes.
and they're going to Patanga
hmm
to go reclaim the throne or something from the Yellow Druids, right?
Yeah, the yellow
Mhm.
Teletubby druids.
Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah.
But their ship goes like adrift because of reasons, and the hull gets heavy. Oh, lightning hits it. That's what happens.
Lightning hits.
Yes, lightning negates magic.
Earlium.
floaty metal thing. Earlium. There we go.
Mhm. Yeah. Don't worry. This will not be brought back.
No, no.
It's a one-time thing.
Yeah. Just like how it's clearly magnetic from. Oh wait, shit! Is that this book?
I think you might be thinking of Unobtainium.
I think that's book 3. No, I think that's
God.
book 3.
No, that was book 2. The magnetic ship was book 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Spoilers. Don't listen to that.
I am not cutting this shit in the edit.
No, fuck this shit. I'm loving it.
So
Because it perfectly encapsulates how you feel reading the book. It's like, this was us.
I was writing my notes for book 2, and at one point I was very confident. I was like, "Oh, this is what happens," and then there's like this arena, and then I was like, "Oh shit, that's the first book." I was like, "What happened in book 2?" So then I had to go back to book 2 and like scroll through it and like, "Oh, okay, this is what happened at this part." You could just cut and
You had to stop the garbage truck. Like, wait, I'm not done with that.
you could cut and paste any section of these books into the other books, and it would make just as much sense.
Which is little, yeah.
Because, as we said in the first episode, the overwhelming mood of these books is nothing matters, nobody cares.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
anyway, lightning hits the Nemidus,
Yes.
and it starts sinking in the air towards the ocean. They're over that Shaga blah 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 sea or whatever it's called.
Okay.
Oh wait, I have a note about this. I have a note, and I'm sorry to interrupt already, cause fuck, I hate these books. But from here on until the end of the last fucking book,
Okay.
every time this geographical feature is mentioned, it is Yashing-Zeb-Chun, the Southern Sea. Every time, the full name. We're going over Yashing-Zeb-Chun, the Southern Sea. Every fucking time.
And I
think-
still didn't remember the name of it.
No, because it's the most made-up nonsense you've ever fucking read.
I think Lin Carter couldn't remember the name either, and he was trying to write it down to remind himself of. Wait, what's the name of this? I'll just write it down entirely every time we
Mhm.
get
I
to
think
it.
there's a theme of that. Multiple things pop up with their full names throughout this. Like, he realizes that nobody can keep track of this shit, so, like, he has to keep track of it
Mhm.
for you.
And by the way, the name will become relevant in a couple of notes.
Does it?
I was like, what? It
Don't worry.
does.
Don't worry. I'll explain more than Lin Carter ever did when we get there.
Oh, I'm
Oh, man.
sure. We've already explained more than Lin Carter ever did.
Yes.
I just, before we move on, because they mentioned, going hundreds of Vorn, which, the book specifically says,
Yeah.
in brackets, the Lemurian equivalent of the mile, 5,555 strides. From...
Fucking.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Anyway, my note here says that they were going towards the city of Petartha, right?
So
or
not
something.
not Puntanga.
Well, they wanted to go towards Patanga, but then they got set off course towards this other one.
Patartha.
Gotcha.
And yes, I just noted that the city of Petartha, named after its founders, Stephen and Martha.
Oh man.
So, you know,
I just had a coughing fit.
it's kind of like not that big of a deal that their ship is sinking because it's still like a boat, I assume, and they could just like drive it on the water, or at least they wouldn't die. It'd be like a raft. But then you have one of the deadliest and/or most dangerous creatures of Lemuria come up out of
Again.
the ocean. It is a sea serpent of sorts. I don't recall his BS name for it. I don't care.
I don't know
And
if he
Irrelevant.
gave it a name.
oh, he did. I'm sure he gave everything a name for no reason.
He probably gave his shits names.
Oh yeah.
There's like 5 of them published.
And so it's like attacking them, and like Thongor and not Tarsarchus are fighting the thing, and Sumia is being useless like usual. And then like Thongor gets knocked overboard, and they're like, "Oh, well, he's dead."
Whoops.
Yeah.
Whoops.
And then like because they wound it, another sea serpent shows up, but then Thongor climbs back on board the boat, and then they drive away.
At this point, I was like, did Lin Carter watch The Phantom Menace? Like, there's always a bigger fish.
Yeah.
No, but I'm starting to think that Lucas did read this book.
No, that explains it.
Yeah.
Honestly, it would explain a lot.
That's why the prequels
Anyway,
suck.
yeah.
Don't you smack talk the prequels. You can smack
I
talk
just
the
want... I will smack talk the shiznit out of all of this. They all suck.
All of Lin Carter's
on,
books suck.
sequels. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Jury's definitely in on that.
So I just realized that the majority of my notes for all of these fucking books are for the first 3 pages, essentially.
And they just check out mentally.
I kind of did, because it's just fucking ridiculous. So,
Yeah.
hold on. A couple of things. Number 1, it's called a Larth.
Oh, yes.
Because I found the note. Because my note says, I wonder where on the scale of deadliest versus most dangerous does this one sit?
Look at the appendix,
Right.
It might say.
Yeah, it probably does, but fuck him and his appendixes.
I'll pull out the appendix while you're reading your notes here.
Okay. Second one. I hate Sumia. Third note. Nay, the girl said, her proud head lifting proudly. This is verbatim
Oh
from the book.
my god.
I remember that.
Her proud head. God.
Lifting proudly.
Was this book also re-edited like the first one?
Yeah, I think it was.
Because it's like a later edition as well.
Yes.
Exactly. So, again, I went back and edited all of these. Please, Lin,
Oh, damn.
please.
Oh, damn.
Just don't. Okay, my other note over here, hold on, let me find it. I was like, oh yeah, surely we're not over Yashing Zeb Chun, the Southern Sea. Sumia faints again, and I'm thinking maybe this girl is narcoleptic at this point, you know.
I mean, she did suffer a concussion, right?
Yeah, well,
Or did she not just yet?
I think
don't
no, she
think
just
so.
faints. Everyone else gets knocked out. She just faints.
She just faints. Okay, well.
Yeah. My next note, because we've established geography, is Yashing Zeb Chun, the Southern Sea, the sea to the south, the sea that's to the south, the Southern Sea. Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
Here's the appendix entry for the Larth.
Oh.
So I'll read this verbatim here for you guys. This is a rather
Please do.
lengthy section.
I got all fucking morning. Let's go.
The horror of Yashkinzeb Chun, the Southern Sea. The Larth was a sea dragon of huge size, with a blunt-muzzled, snake-like head on a long, serpentine neck. This marine monster was armed with short flipper-like arms which bore tremendous strength, hooked with powerful claws. Scientists equate the Larth with the genus Plesiosaurus, order Sauropterygia, I don't know, which are known to have flourished during the Jurassic and Cretaceous, and perhaps it may be precisely identified with the newly discovered Plesiosaurus titanus, whose fossil specimens were recently discovered by Warburton on Sumatra, an island which did not exist in the Lemurian Age, but which was approximately located in Yashngazebchun.
Jesus fucking Christ, Lin.
I know, the appendices are just really the rancid cherry on top of this shit cake.
Oh, man. Hey, at least we know he kept up with recent fossil discoveries.
Yeah, well, I kind of respect
true.
that. I kind of respect
He should have followed that as a hobby instead of writing.
Right?
Yes, he should have been like an archaeologist or something. Like
he could have written Jurassic Park instead, But
There you go.
here we are.
I don't think I would want to read his version of Jurassic Park.
That's a.
I don't think I want to read any of his books ever again.
Oh, this is the part where in the edit I'm going to include the quote from the first episode.
Please do.
I'm gonna read them all.
Yes. Make me eat my
Oh,
words.
I'm gonna serve this crow to you raw.
The avid reader is like, no. Number.
No.
Stop.
I will say I will end up reading his Conan pastiches, but only because I'm a completionist of Conan.
You heretic.
Yes, I am. But I'm not looking forward to them.
No. Maybe if you can find some good audiobooks, at least have someone, lull you to bed over them or some shit.
Oh, that's true. That's a good idea. I can fall asleep and
There you go.
pretend like I listened to it.
Or do what I did and install that reading app and have Snoop Dogg read it to you.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Oh man, while I was listening to that, I was just thinking about this. Still going through Lemuria, still getting knocked out by a cannibal tree, still Snoop Dogg DRE.
Thongor, yo, yippee yo,
Fucking theme
yippee
Faux Rizzle Thongor.
Oh man. Rizzle is probably a city in Lemuria somewhere.
Yeah, it definitely is.
You know what? It might as
It might
well
be near the Southern Sea.
The
Sorry,
Southern
no.
Sea.
You mean Yashingzebchun, the Southern Sea. You have to give it the full name.
I can't pronounce the full name.
I can't spell the motherfucking thing.
Nobody can spell it, but surprisingly, Snoop Dogg could actually pronounce it pretty well.
After 3 blunts, I can pronounce anything as well. So
you know what? Yeah. So anyway,
but wait. Sorry. Before we move on with this, I have a thing. Cause remember when I said that the name of the fucking thing was going to be relevant?
yeah.
Let me read you something here. So, quote from the book. Nor were they likely, in such a circumstance, to find their way home again, for, with the magnetic compass as yet only a rude toy, man's knowledge of terrain geography yet unborn. Okay, couple of things. Number 1, you can build flying fucking boats, but you don't understand geography. Number 2, you have a compass, and you are over Yashingzebchun, the Southern Sea. What the fuck are we doing here?
Hey, what's this glowing orb in the sky? Why is it moving the same way every day?
Hey, not Conan never said he knew how to use a compass, just that he knew how to fly the thing.
Which he picked up on the fly.
Oh, yeah.
All right. That's all I had. Please.
I forgot about that. Like, when you said that, I remember reading that line, but I forgot about that.
Again, trauma response.
I forgot about a lot of things about these books.
I wish I could forget all of these
for
books.
good reason.
Oh, yeah. I have one note here of mine. I don't know where it goes. I should have put, page numbers, but I didn't care because these books are stupid. Mm-hmm. And in one part in this story, somewhere, he says, he has written, "I have spoken." I don't know who says this quote, but that's clearly a reference to the Edgar Rice Burroughs, Mars books, because that's where that comes from. And then, Star Wars with the Mandalorian uses that, but
yeah,
I didn't clock that. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know where it's at in the book. It could be anywhere, but I just figured I would throw that in here.
Fair shout. Actually, speaking of Cam, because again, I'm familiar with the what's his name, Lin Carter of Mars. The novels. Sorry, John Carter. I actually slipped. That wasn't even on purpose. So I've never read the books. Is Edgar Rice Burroughs anywhere between Lin Carter and Robert E. Howard in terms of quality of writing?
It depends on the books.
I see.
So the Barsoom Martian series is mostly really good. The last book feels kind of phoned in, but it's really more of like a tacked on thing. Like the story's already been concluded by that point. It's just like another adventure.
Because I just want to prepare myself spiritually for actually going to read those books as well.
Those are good.
Okay.
I don't think they're like, this might be a very heretical thing to say in the pulp world, I don't know. I don't think they're like Robert E. Howard levels of good.
I wouldn't say that's heretical because I like Robert E. Howard actually as a writer.
Well, I know, but like people really like the Tarzan books and stuff.
Yeah, people like the stupid shit.
I've never read Tarzan. I'm going to, but it's the jungle adventure crap is not my thing.
Well, then you're fucking gonna love these books, huh?
Yeah. These Thongor books are like Tarzan and John Carter and Conan all had like a hideous baby.
A hideously concussed baby.
Yes. But yeah, so I think if you read the Martian books, those are good. If you read like the Carson of Venus books, those are not good. I would classify them on the same level of garbage as this stuff.
Wow.
Well, all right then.
I read like 2 books out of those 5, and I said, nah.
Fair enough.
Oh, brother.
I don't know about Tarzan, but I know Tarzan's like extremely racist, though.
Ah, yes. Well, duh.
You know, pulp.
Pulp, indeed.
He is a jungle man after all.
That's true. That's true. But yeah,
My lawyer helped me with the phrasing of that joke.
I guess let's get back to these stupid books.
Let's get back to these stupid fucking books.
By all means.
So anyway, they are in the Southern Sea, insert name here, and they are just kind of going again. I don't remember if they start flying again or if they're going through the water.
No flying, because it's deactivated.
I didn't know if it had reactivated yet. I can't remember at what point it reactivates.
No, they're pretty much shipwrecked eventually, right?
Yeah, they're in dinghy mode right now.
Yeah, and so they're like in the water and they're looking and they're like, oh gosh, land ho, we're saved, there's land. And they get there and Thongor's first immediate thought is, I'm hungry, so I'm gonna go hunt things.
I made a note here. I said I now firmly believe either Thongor or Lin Carter himself is just a foodie.
Yes.
He's a simple barbarian man. He likes to eat, he likes to sleep, and he likes boobs.
Yes.
This is true. I have a part of a theory here, which that probably doesn't hold up, but I'm guessing Carter was reading The Lord of the Rings, and he thought, oh my god, this guy is obsessed with food. He's describing all the food. I know how to write good book now.
You know what? I accept this as canon.
And
Excellent.
Then a couple decades later, we got George Martin with this fucking honeyed pickled goose and herring.
Listen,
shit.
George Martin is in such a different league of writer compared to this motherfucker.
No, I'm just talking about the food. You know.
Yeah, but you see, let's talk a little bit about writing because I got some notes on that as well. But George R.R. Martin is, for all his faults, is competent enough to know when he's doing a reference to something.
Yes.
And to work that into kind of as a wink to the audience, right?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, remember when you were terribly bored by all the food in Lord of the Rings? Here's some patently ridiculous descriptions so we can all have a good laugh. Now let's continue with the book.
Mm-hmm.
Lin Carter does not have this skill.
No. Like, I don't like Martin's writing, but Martin is a much, much better writer. than Carter ever thought about being.
Carter probably thought about being a good writer.
But that's fair.
I'm not.
That's
He
fair.
just couldn't bring it to fruition. Yeah.
That's fair.
I don't think he ever thought about being a good writer. He just thought, you know what, I'm going to do this because money, probably, or because my mommy says I have to.
To quote
Well.
a certain modern politician whose name I won't mention here, he has a
boy.
concept of a plan.
Oh man.
That's what these books are, a concept of a plan, concept of a book. They're not actually books.
That's
yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah. Let's not think about how Lin Carter was going to vote.
You mean in the U.S. or Romania?
Ha! No, thank you. I don't want to think about
That
any of this
doesn't
shit.
matter.
Take me back to Fantasyland, Cameron.
Oh, man.
please.
Okay, so Thongor's like, Sumia, you stay here at the camp. Well, no, he doesn't say that. He says to Karm Karvis, he's like, stay with Sumia. And he's like, okay, bro. So then he goes off into the woods.
I trust you completely.
Yeah, he goes off into the woods, Thongor does, to go hunting. And then he's gone for like a gazillion hours. And they're like, man, this is really weird. He should be back by now. And Sumia's like, I'm going to go find him. This is in her like not fainting mode. She's in her like strong woman ain't need no man mode.
Yeah, she's no longer feigning.
Right. And Karm is like, hey, Thongor said to stay here. And she says, no, he said for you to stay with me. And if you're going to stay with me, then you better come into the jungle with me. And he's like, I like this plan.
Was like, me, if you're going to stay with me.
Yeah.
This is canon.
That was definitely what was going through his mind.
So they're going through the jungle and they're like, man, where is Thongor? And Thongor is like at this little like lake area place.
Thongor is Gongor.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm going to kill that not deer thing. And then he gets hit in the head and knocked out.
Concussion number 1 of this book.
Yes, we've got our first concussion. We're like chapter 2, I think, at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have a single note here. Gets decked by blow to the head.
Yep.
I have a couple of notes here, actually. Number 1, we have a new ranking of animals, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, man.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that.
Yes. This is, and I quote, the terrific Deodath, the most feared land beast of the Lemurian continent.
We have the most deadly, the most dangerous, and now the most feared.
We have come full circle.
Exactly. We have another ranking. Another ranking has been unlocked.
It makes sense. You know, sometimes you're scared of things that aren't necessarily as deadly or as dangerous as what you perceive them to be.
Yeah. I have so the gazelle-like thing that you mentioned is called a fondle, apparently.
Oh, I thought it was like a deer. I didn't remember what it was. Sure, a bird or a deer.
Who the fuck cares? Lin Carter sure didn't. It's like, oh, the gazelle-like fondle. That is the direct quote from the book. And the vicious Zulfar, the Lemurian boar. Just call it a gazelle. Just call it a boar. We know what the fuck these are, Lin. Just let it the fuck go. All right?
Yeah, I hate how he just everything is like another thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just either stick with commit to the bit or like, don't go there. It's pointless.
Yeah. I had another, because I said there was writing notes. This is the main one that I have, right? So this is why Lin Carter is a shit writer. I'm not sorry. So 101 writing course. You have a compass. You take the compass away. That is a challenge. That is good. Your character, as you've established, can navigate by the stars. So he has a skill to mitigate this. But then the sky is cloudy, so you have another challenge. Fantastic. So a good writer will give him something to do here to figure out this, conundrum, this issue, a challenge, if you will, a conflict, if I may, and then continue the plot that way. No. Thongor goes to sleep, wakes up, they're on fucking land.
Yeah.
That's how that gets resolved. He goes to sleep.
Yeah. I think this is the third time going to sleep happens to resolve shit.
Plot.
Yeah,
To fast travel.
to fast travel. All right, everybody has to go to sleep. Come on, guys. Come on, get out of the mine. We got enough redstone. Everybody goes to sleep. There's creepers outside.
Yeah. We got to advance to daytime.
Minecraft rule.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, Thongor gets knocked out,
Mhm.
and Sumia and not Tarstarchus are going into the jungle looking for him,
Yep.
and they get attacked by cannibal trees, which
As you do.
doesn't make sense to me because if the trees are cannibals, they would be eating each other, not humans. But
See, the problem there, Cam, is
You're thinking.
You're thinking.
You're right. You're right.
Jinx.
My bad.
You shouldn't be doing that.
We
Yeah.
don't do that here.
We don't do that.
Another mention of things not making sense. I was like looking up things earlier today, and Costin, you mentioned that there's like a wiki for this crap, and I went to it, and it is the most bare bones wiki I've ever saw.
It really is, yeah.
Very, very honorable to his depth of lore. But in that, it mentions somewhere on there that Thongor is from Valkarth, the frozen Northlands.
Mm-hmm.
But this place is below the equator. So the Northlands should be hotter than the southern area.
I had a note about that too.
Oh.
I
I
didn't
actually-
remember
yes.
that it was below the equator because I forgot everything from these stupid books.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you've established, actually, Cam, this is supposed to take place in the same world, the same planet as the Hyborian Chronicles, right?
Yeah, just way before them.
There is a map of Hyboria, which includes what Howard called Mu, aka Lemuria.
Yes.
Right? The north of Lemuria is just over the equator.
Wow.
Ooh.
The frozen north that this dick cheese is from is really actually more like fucking Vietnam. It's tropical. It's
probably
canonically
figuratively
Indonesia.
frozen. I mean,
Oh, okay. Here's
Yeah.
my headcanon retcon nonsense.
signed Lin Carter.
Yeah. Okay. So you know how the magnetic poles switch?
Mm-hmm.
So the magnetic north at this time period was actually in the south.
Okay.
That would still put the equator right smack in the middle, so...
But then Thongor would actually be from the south, but they call it the north because remember compasses are a thing.
Oh.
It's just
Right.
it's flip reversed basically.
Yeah. There you go. There's my retcon.
Okay, you know what? That makes about as much sense as any fucking thing else in this fucking book, so...
It doesn't matter.
Nothing matters, nobody cares.
Oh man.
Just turn the continent upside down and it's okay.
Just flip it vertically, flip it horizontally, make a campaign book out of it. I don't fucking care.
Yeah, who cares?
Actually, I think it would be more appropriate that Lin Carter intended for you to read these books while you were upside down.
Maybe there's a hidden message that way.
Uh-huh.
Has anybody tried to read the book backwards, like a metal album in the 80s, speaking Satan things? You don't know. You don't
I
know.
don't know.
Well,
Hold on, I'm reaching for a refill of my whiskey. Fucking hell.
We're not even past the first third of the book.
No, we have a whole nother book to go to this
Oh
time.
man. Oh yeah, we're doing books 2 and 3. God damn.
Yeah.
Because we're masochists. Apparently.
Pretty much.
Well, no. See, it'll be more torture this time, but then we never have to return to this ever again.
Okay,
This is
you
true.
promise?
Oh yeah.
If I-
No.
If I get reincarnated, will I never have to read through this again?
I don't know. I can't.
I mean, it's my fault we are, but still.
Yeah, but I was like stupid and wanted to read these.
Yeah. I blame Simon Washburn for writing Barbarians of Lemuria, which made me aware of this horseshit.
See, I was already aware of this, but like very vaguely. Like I read the Marvel Comics adaptation of Thongor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
It was okay.
Oh yeah, because when I was looking up some things to check my notes, there were 2 wikis that showed up. One of them was the Thongor wiki, and one of them was the Marvel wiki. So
Yeah.
I was really, shall we say, taken aback by this.
Marvel's done
But
anything at this point, anything and everything.
Well, it was because Roy Thomas wanted to make Conan, but they didn't have the rights to Conan, so he did Thongor, and then, like, the next year they got Conan, and he was like, the fuck with this thing?
Fuck's sake.
he had the same reaction that we are having right now. Fuck Thongor forever. I don't need this in my life. By the way, speaking of losing interest in these books, I just realized that at this point we're only 2 or 3 chapters in, and this was 2/3 of my notes. The rest of the books are notes because I stopped caring completely.
Oh man.
So Cam, I hope you can guide us through it because
I have
remember it.
I have not really in depth, but I have like 2 pages of a book outline is what I call these things.
Yeah, that's
right.
way more than I got.
Well, they're separate from my notes. My notes, I only have a paragraph and a sentence after this for this book. So
I'm pretty sure you could summarize the notes as "this sucks." That's about it.
So,
please.
Anyway,
Chapters 4 to 15 of This Sucks.
Yeah. Sumia and Tarstarchus are being eaten by cannibal trees, or there's like the tentacles are like draining them or something. I don't know. And then
Fucking hentai.
Yeah. Lin Carter invented hentai.
Canon.
So then we find out why not Conan was knocked out, and it was because there's beastmen. So basically they're Neanderthals, and they save Sumia and Karm from the tentacle trees using like fire globe things.
Yeah.
And then they capture them because they're going to take them back to their little like village thing.
Actual cannibal village, yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Cannibals.
Yes, they are cannibals who defeated
By the way,
cannibal trees.
Yes. Oh Jesus! Please don't talk about this book in complete sentences. This is only
I have a couple notes here. Luckily, the beastmen who catch the party speak common language.
Hold on, because I have notes about that too.
Okay.
The way they speak this common language, which, by the way, to set this up, one of the characters is called Mugchuck. Okay?
Yes.
That's the level we are operating at.
He mugs you by chucking shit at your head.
Exactly.
That's the guy that knocked out Thongor. Mugchuck.
Yeah.
That's the guy. Yeah, by chucking a club at his head.
Yeah.
Obviously.
That fucking mug.
And the way that these people, quote unquote, speak the common language is Mugchuck, good hunter, better hunter than Ugchuck over there. And my note says this Unga Bunga shit is killing me.
Yeah.
I can't. I just can't.
Fred Flintstone was more articulate.
Quite.
Like, not the cartoon version, the IRL version.
And I feel like these guys were meant to be representative of like the beastmen in Conan, which are the same like Neanderthal.
Is it the Picts or
there's like another group? There's beastmen that are in. Is it like the Border Nation?
The beastmen are, as I recall, actually people from Lemuria that got devolved into like apes.
Or from Atlantis, weren't they? Or was it Lemuria?
I thought it was Lemuria.
I don't know.
We'll get to
one of those ancient continents that sank.
Yeah, one of the many. Apparently.
There were many of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
I like how you guys were like, they're the border people, and I'm like, build a wall.
Yeah, get what the fuck was his name? The
leader.
Yeah, what was the politician we just referenced? Who was his in book name? I already forgot.
Do we allude to a politician?
You know what?
Just
Never mind.
randomly spoke. It's too. Listen,
I think
just
we
drink your
all.
whiskey.
I think we've all got like CTE from the amount of like times Thongor got hit in the head.
The second note, because tying into this, the second note says 70 pages into volume 2, Thongor should be so concussed he would be thinking about murdering his woman, not saving her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's.
I make no
that's also
apologies
true.
for this Chris Benoit joke.
No, it's you know what?
It's kind of
Fair
accurate. I
reference,
mean,
actually, yeah.
he is fucking CTE to death by now.
yeah.
Like,
This
seriously.
guy needs to star in a movie alongside Sandra Bullock at this point.
So, Thongor wakes up while the cavemen are taking Sumia and not Tarsarchus to their camp. And this is where we get the the lion.
The
Van Wilder.
the Deodef
Oh.
is the.
What am I thinking? I don't know.
That doesn't matter. But
Another nonsense
A
word that
glimpse.
he used somewhere.
A glimpse into Lin Carter's mind.
the Flaflaf,
Fluff, laugh.
the snip shit.
The Lemurian lion, a younger version of its species, is like they're like sniffing around on Thongor, like, what is this weird looking dude here? And then Thongor kills it because he's Thongor.
Yeah, exactly.
And
But did you notice something about this black lion? Something odd about its eyes.
oh, were they golden?
Yes, they were.
Which
Oh,
is the golden eyes that Thongor has.
Mm-hmm. That never get mentioned, never are explained, and don't matter, much like the rest of these fucking books.
And as Thongor was killing this lion, somewhere in the back, he probably heard "Golden Eye, I found his weakness."
Oh, son of a bitch! Son of a bitch! I didn't
No
even
Tina
think
Turner
about that.
fans.
No James Bond fans.
Sorry, I was
Oh,
like distracted. Somehow, like my Apple Watch had like started playing music, and I was like, "Why do I hear music at the very edge of my perception?" So, yeah.
I don't think that was the Apple Watch. I think that was Christine.
Really, I
We
did. I
have
had
canonically gone insane.
no. My Apple Watch was playing music. I don't know why.
Oh wow, okay.
Probably heard.
Maybe the golden eye thing triggered it.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know.
He's like, Tina Turner, I got something for you.
So, Thongor, I don't remember how, but he realizes that the cavemen have Sumia, and he tracks them back to their village, and he's like, I gotta wait till nightfall. There's too many of them for me to take at once. And I was like, oh, wow. I just thought he would just, like, run into the place because he can't die, clearly. And so he waits till nightfall. He sneaks in. He unties Sumia, unbeknownst to him. Karm escapes his bonds because he doesn't know that Thongor's around. He's like, I have to go rescue the princess. So then he goes to the princess's tent, sees this large figure standing over Sumia, and assumes, correctly, honestly, that it is an enemy in there. So he takes a log and hits him over the head with it.
I think this is where my previous note would fit in.
Yes. We are at our second concussion so far. No, third.
Third.
Because one in the water, one on the beach. Well, not in the beach, one in the jungle, one here.
Yeah, but I just find it so appropriate that at this point, even Karm, who's been knocked out so many times at this point, he's just like, I see man-shaped thing, I bonk on the head.
just to be safe, you know.
Well, I mean,
No thoughts, head empty.
I understand why he does it, because it's like, Thongor's dead, according to his brain. So this clearly isn't Thongor. This is just some dude going in there to, like, you know, have his way with the princess. So,
it's a noble
Yeah.
what do you call it, justification, I guess.
yeah. However, this royally screws everything up because in the commotion that results from this, all of the cavemen come by and they're like, Unga bunga, we gotta eat these people.
Unga bunga hungry, unga bunga eat.
Like, we have
Yeah.
the third captive now. We have more meat to eat.
Amaze.
As
and-
you do.
And so they like tie them up, and then they have their like wizard shaman dude with the magic fireballs, and he's gonna like burn them to death. And then Thongor like breaks out of his bonds and starts a melee and like burns that guy with the glowing orb things. And then all hope looks like it's lost because the leader of the Unga Bungas has him on the ground, and he's gonna kill him.
He's the unga bungast.
Yeah. And then the cavalry like literally arrives out of nowhere.
Yep.
Like literally an army shows up and kills everyone and captures
As armies
them.
tend to do.
Yeah.
And captures Thongor and them because they're like, "Ha! Looks like we came in just the nick of time. Oh wait, that's Thongor of Lemuria. He's a fugitive. Let's capture him."
Yeah, and I think he literally just says, "We've been looking all over for you." And I'm just, well, isn't this just the biggest coincidence of
Well,
fucking
not all over, obviously, because you'd have found me if you'd looked all over.
Well, they
Yes.
couldn't look in the sky because he took their airship.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. And they didn't know which direction Yashing Zipchun the Southern Sea was, clearly.
They didn't know shit about fuck, because the compass was simply a toy at this point.
And
Exactly.
they didn't know where the Dragon City was because only Sherry with his Palantir was able to locate that.
It's only in the middle of the fucking continent, but whatever.
Nobody goes there.
All roads lead to Dragon City.
Apparently. I didn't take a note here, actually, but I just remembered that we did have a quick little paragraph where Karm Carvis, aka not Tarstarkus, gets friend-zoned so hard,
Oh yeah.
it just knocked all sense out of him pretty much. He goes NPC mode after this. It's like, what's her name, Sumi over there going, yes, I only have love for one man, the man who stole my heart. And like, bitch, when? How? What?
Oh, there's also, I think I had another note here. Sumia is thrilled to the savage spectacle of Thongor fighting Chief Beast.
Mm-hmm.
So as she's being, so she was attacked by the Chief Beast, and Thongor came in and saved her. She, while not being furious or exhausted or scared shitless, judging by everything she's gone through, no, she finds the time to snap out of her usual character reaction to admire Thongor's mighty thews, or whatever the fuck.
Yep.
Probably his mighty thews, because the word thew gets used so much
A
in
lot,
these fucking
yeah.
books.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's just because he's imitating Howard, and Howard used like
Yeah.
archaic words like that, which I like that phrase, but it gets
Mhm.
old.
Well, that's because Howard used it sparingly
Yes.
to describe the man maybe once or twice. This gets every other fucking page. We get a reminder that this guy's thews are made of titanium,
Beryllium.
jizzite, whatever the fuck metal.
Jizzite.
Didn't invent
They're
for
just
this.
fucking white and moist. It's fucking jizzite.
So, since we mentioned Sumia here, I'll mention my paragraph note.
Oh yes. Please.
My paragraph note is that Sumia feels more like an analog of Deja Thoris in the Barsoom stories than to any women that Conan has in his tales. Because she's like a princess, and she alternates between being like very proud and stubborn in the face of danger and being completely useless. But this is without the skilled writing that Edgar Rice Burroughs employed with Deja Thoris. Like, Deja's still a
Yes.
likable character who has a character,
Hmm.
and Sumia doesn't.
No, Sumia is a swooning pair of tits, and that's it.
Who is
Swoon
occasionally
Mia.
proud and says "fuck you" to the bad guys.
Yeah.
This woman has just one on-off switch, and it goes from proud to unconscious,
Yeah, yeah. It's
and that's it.
I don't know.
And this note of mine is actually from book 3, but Sumia is the only female character in 3 books.
Yes.
Yes.
Unless you
And
count
my
the
quote
snake people.
says, yeah, unless you count the snake people. And my quote says, my note says, I say character, but she's only a swooning pair of tits.
Well, there aren't actually any characters in these books.
This is true.
Thongor is just CTE Incorporated. And Sherry is just the guy who delivers relevant plot information.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and steers the plot whenever they would have no idea what
Yeah,
to do.
and
which
then
is
Karm
a
is
lot.
just the side character who is occasionally used for things, but usually is just there.
No.
And
Karm is an NPC.
and then every other character are just enemies that get slaughtered, or NPCs in the background that are allies.
Yes.
And inevitably admire Thongor for some reason.
Yes,
Because he's Thongor. That's
Because
the only
Because
reason
he's
they
the
need.
protagonist.
he has mighty
Yes.
fuse. Nobody else
Oh.
does.
That's
He
right.
has the
yeah.
mightiest thews.
The mightiest heroes. I also love how, by the way, we've established some sort of geography that Yashing Zipchun, the Southern Sea, is to the south, and Valkarth is to the north.
Yes.
But Thongor, throughout the rest of this book, will be the only Valkarthan in existence.
Of course.
That's because he's a Sumerian like Conan. He's the only one that leaves his homeland, blah, blah, blah.
His village was burned down by James Earl Jones.
Yeah,
Oh,
Very
man.
probably.
James Earl Jones couldn't save this book.
I wish he read it, though. Like, that would be fun.
That would be fun. Well, with the power of ghoulish AI, you can probably resurrect him to read this fucking book now.
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
We're doing that, apparently.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, before I get more depressed, let's go on.
So,
Carry on.
Okay, let's see here. Like I said, the cavalry arrives. This mercenary company that works for the Dragon City. I don't remember the name of the Dragon City. It doesn't matter.
Nobody cares.
And they say that name of city, Dragon City, like constantly. So the Dragon City part clicked in my brain.
Mm.
And so they take them to this city after they wipe out the cavemen.
You mean the Dragon City, Dragon City?
Yes, Dragon City, Dragon City. It's probably what it is. It's probably the name means Dragon City in Lemurian. So anyway,
It's the New York of Lemuria.
yeah, Dragon City, Dragon City. And so they go there, and they're judged by the Sark because he's like, bro, I want my airboat back. And Thongor's like, I'm not going to tell you. And he's like, if you tell me where the airboat is, I'll literally let you go. At this point, I feel like they probably should have just said, okay, here's the airboat. It's right over there. And then it could have just
Literally
left.
where you picked us up from.
Yeah, like it was like 20 feet that way in the jungle parked. Like if you guys would have like done a thorough search of the area, you might have saw it.
Nah.
And I feel like
Then
if,
we
why
have no
bother?
plot.
if they picked up where he was, why didn't they just send troops out to go look for it?
Because these
That one-
characters, much like the book, are stupid.
You're right.
Yes.
You're right. So anyway, this is the part where I was mentioning, I think it was before we started recording, where I was super confident that I knew what happened next. I was like, oh, they sent them to go fight in the arena, and then they had to get out in the airship, and I was like, oh
Wait
shit, that's
a
book
minute.
1. I was like, no. And then I was like, what happened in this book? How did they escape this? What even happened? What happened is they get they use Sumia and Karm as like collateral, and they're prisoners, they're hostages, and they send Thongor to the evilest person around, Thalaba the Destroyer.
Before this, I think I actually have something.
Ooh, okay.
Thongor bribes the Gaoler for food with coins,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
which, again, the food, and also coins from fucking where?
They
Up
took
his
his
ass.
weapons.
Up his ass.
They took his
yeah,
weapons.
well,
They didn't
they would have
search
taken
him.
fucking yeah, of course, because why would you search the mighty Thongor of Lemuria?
I mean, he's scary.
It's like in The Hobbit, right? I could have anything down my trousers.
If I could just possibly offer an explanation here. For 5 long years, he carried those coins up his ass.
Up his ass.
Maybe
what
maybe the
canonically
coins
happened.
were in his
Please.
boots, or it doesn't matter.
Sure.
I'm gonna stick with
Yeah,
my version.
It doesn't
I
matter.
prefer Ian's too.
Yeah, he has coins. somehow.
Nothing matters.
He
Nothing
produces
matters.
coins from somewhere, and
Mhm.
yeah, he bribes the jailer.
The place and the smell of the coins is not important.
Right. He also at some point asks if like his old buddy Ald Tharmas is still part of the guard or something like
Mhm.
that.
Uh-huh.
And I don't remember if he gets an answer or not from the people.
I don't think he does.
Okay. And so anyway, he's in this dungeon with Thalaba, and Thalaba is like actually a pretty interesting character.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he is. Thalaba the Destroyer is a friend to Nurgle, is what I noted here.
Oh yeah. He's like a dwarf-sized human with like weird like pustulence masses like all over him. He's disgusting.
tasty
He's an
shit.
nerdling.
And he like apparently has like some sort of dark magic. He's like a sorcerer of some sort, and he like in true pulp novel fashion decides to tell Thongor every single
Everything.
thing about his evil machinations.
As you do.
He's like, I am the most evilest evil to have ever eviled, and I am the true power behind the throne of the Dragon City, and the Sark does whatever I want, but even he doesn't know that I'm the power behind the throne, and we're going to conquer all of Lemuria under this great empire.
And Thongor was like, press record.
Yeah. And Thongor's like, all defiant, but he's like, if I cut you and then like put one drop of my blood in you, you'll turn into me. And Thongor is like horrified. This is the first time Thongor is ever scared in his life.
Legitimately horrified. Yeah. Also, the chapters with Thalaba are by far, in my opinion, the best things about these first 3 books, like bar none. If there were a short story that described like the whole sequence where he's captured and the whole escape, which we're going to talk about in a bit, like this whole thing was like I was reading something else entirely. It was great. It was fucking awesome. It gave me hope that there would still be some redeeming qualities to these books. Like this is amazing sword and sorcery to me.
Yes,
So
the Thalaba stuff is fantastic, and I don't know if he actually wrote these or not.
I was thinking the same thing. Honestly.
I didn't go that far,
just-
but yeah, that's a good point.
I remember I had to actually pause Snoop Dogg from reading this so I could go back and make sure I was reading the same book. Because
Oh man.
what the fuck? I'm like, hold on, this is interesting. This cannot be the same author.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thalaba, you know what? I'll change my opinion here. There is one character in these books, and that is Thalaba the Destroyer. He is actually a character.
Yeah. No, fair enough.
And I have a theory about this, which we will get back to in book 3.
Oh, I like it, because he is referenced later.
And that's why I'm going to come back to it.
Uh-huh. So,
Okay.
he, I don't remember why there's like a noise or something, and he's like, I have to go investigate what this is.
Mhm.
And he leaves. And so then Ald Thermus shows up and is like, hey, I'm your buddy Ald Thermus from book 1 that helped you escape last time.
Guess what?
And I'm gonna help you escape this time too.
Whew.
And then continue to never be relevant again.
It's like the goofy meme. I'll fucking do it again.
Yes. And they're like wandering through like the dark of these dungeons, the pits as they call them, which is very reminiscent of like Robert E. Howard stuff.
Yeah.
And like, but like in a good way. Like these are
That was
this
great.
is
Like that was
solid
fucking.
stuff.
Yeah. That was an amazing
Atmospheric.
chapter. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's
and
a word we were looking for.
Thalaba has like these 2 Romal giants, these giant blue men walking around with him like as guards, and they're
Mhm.
trying to like stay away from him. And there's also like a lurker in the pits or whatever, and it's this giant like
I have
worm thing.
a thing.
Uh-huh.
We all do, Ian.
Because well, yes, but my thing, no. So the way he was describing this,
Mm-hmm.
I had to pause and double check the exact description. I didn't write it down, but he says it's this gelatinous thing that basically just swallows things whole, and it's transparent, so you can see him being digested.
It's a gelatinous cube, but it's shaped like a cylinder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I went to check the entry for the gelatinous cube in the D&D wiki, where it proudly says that the gelatinous cube is the only original addition by Gary Gygax to the canon of D&D fantasy. And I'm like, no, the fuck it isn't.
Nope. Lin Carter actually made something worth copying. One thing.
Yeah.
One thing.
One thing. One. Once again, who the fuck wrote these chapters? Because I don't think it was Lin Carter.
It was Gary Gygax.
It was actually Gary Gygax, who was a gleam in his father's eyes at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Actually, no. He was well and
he was
truly
like
alive
12,
at this
I think.
point.
Yeah, because hold on.
Something.
Gary Gygax. How old was he? Because this book came out in what, 66?
60 something. Yeah.
So it was literally a year after the first one.
Yep.
Oh shit, never mind. He was 30 years old. Gary Gygax was reading and taking notes.
That is a potential headcanon.
Mm-hmm.
Another potential headcanon I have is that I don't know if he was already in contact with Elsbreg de Camp, who he did Conan passages with, but maybe Elsbreg de Camp rewrote this section of.
It's not impossible, honestly, because again, it's painfully
really good.
noticeable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really fucking good.
Yeah. Again, you're reading a different book here. It is noticeable.
If you just ripped this part of the book out and put it as a short story, this would be the best short story in Sword and Sorcery.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seriously, this is the best SNS bit I'd read in years.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
lest we forget Conan still exists.
Yeah, well, I hadn't read Conan in years, so
yeah, but
I was technically right.
I don't know. Howard's works are much. I love them, and they are better, but they're very different.
True. This is a very good SNS horror, which we don't actually get a lot of.
Yeah.
Although, no, because I will say if we go back and reread, I don't remember the title, but it's Conan versus the Gray Men, or the whatever, which is basically a little Cthulhu short story that he did. That one was also creepy as fuck. But actually, I have a thing here which may... Again, I need to stop saying that. A note. I have a note.
A note.
Yes.
Thanks for clarifying.
Sure. That might actually point to this theory of ours not being complete nonsense. Because Carter, for all his faults, aside from mentioning isotopes randomly in the book, he is consistent with the archaic language, right? And it doesn't use a lot of modern terminology.
Yeah.
A quote that I actually wrote down for this chapter was, Thongor was something of a connoisseur of prisons. I noted it down because it was very different from the style, and also because my note said, yeah, no shit. But honestly, I'm starting to buy that this might have actually just been a different author ghostwriting this chapter.
Dun dun dun.
Oh man, I wish we could research this somehow.
Somebody get a Ouija board out.
Somebody get a
Oh,
it's a 60-year-old mystery.
He would lie his ass off and say he wrote it.
For sure.
That's fair enough.
If anyone ever just digs through Lin Carter's loft and finds the incriminating letter where he admits to this.
Thanks for writing chapter 8 of book 2 for me, buddy.
The person to ask would be that Robert M. Price, I think his name is, who does the pastiche novels of these things, because he is the executor of his estate. He's like the Glen Lord for for Lin Carter. So,
Moving on.
I'll mention my third note from book 2 here. Is that I noticed that Carter uses the words ringmail, chainmail, and mail interchangeably throughout the story. Which bothers
Once again,
me.
Gary Gygax was taking notes.
Yeah, it bothers me because I'm like, stop. For
Please stop.
starters, it
No,
was never
Dad,
called
down.
chainmail in these times.
Yes.
And mail and ringmail are different.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But
Once again,
Well,
nobody cares. Nothing matters.
yes,
We're all in agreement.
yes.
Lin Carter should have been taking notes from us.
So anyway,
So anyway,
they're going
Moving
through
on.
there. They try and fight the gelatinous cube, and
Yep.
they realize that they can't kill it. So they realize that there is a underground river going through there, which is definitely a reference to like some Conan stories because there's underground rivers in those. And they do the only logical thing is, well, let's plunge into it. It might kill us, but it's better than being eaten by that thing.
It's the only way out, yeah.
Yeah, which was again really cool.
It was another ex machina of, bringing up the river as an escape route, but it didn't feel as forced as some other shit he's been doing.
Right. Yeah, it felt earned because like this
Yeah.
was actually something they couldn't defeat.
yes, and the characters had agency in what they were doing.
Mhm.
Yeah, you actually felt a little bit of tension here of like, will Thongor survive this?
Yeah. And then it abruptly ends, and my note is the quality abruptly ends in my opinion, because my note is underground river escape, find log. Thongor didn't know where it came from. Neither do I.
Yeah.
At this point, Lin Carter has continued writing the book.
Yes.
We're back on point. He was off visiting relatives for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Somebody jotted this down. He's like, I'll keep it.
It's like I'm imagining that he was like sending this in to like pulp magazines to try and like publish this.
Mhm.
And he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna miss a deadline. Hey, can you like write a chapter for me?" And
Oh
they
my
like
God.
almost considered publishing it, and they were like, "Wait a minute, isn't this part of this other crap?"
Oh, brother. This
Good
is
stuff.
painful.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, they drift down the river in the on the log that somehow mysteriously appeared underground,
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about it.
and then it spills out. Does it spill out into the Southern Sea?
No, I don't remember.
Okay, some other body of water.
Mhm.
That is surprisingly not the Southern Sea.
No, it comes out into the light somewhere near a jungly thing.
Yeah, and there's like
Yes.
a outpost of the Dragon City troops.
Yeah, where they steal some lizards and make an escape and run.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and here I think we get the longest description of the Zamp or this other thing,
Yep.
which again had me rolling my eyes so hard I almost lost them.
Yeah. So, meanwhile, while they are escaping on the lizard mounts.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, before that, they see the airship floating, and they get off their mounts and get on the airship.
No,
How
so
did the airship
they-
get there?
So this is they make an escape and run into the floating airship they'd left tied to a tree before running into the beastmen because ... they use hero points. Fucked if I know at this point. Thongor
Yes.
grinned with joy at their astounding luck. So did Lin Carter at this totally natural, logical, and not at all Zam-fisted ex machina.
Yes. Yes.
That is the best description of this
So-
fucking logic ever.
Yes.
Honestly.
So meanwhile, while all of this nonsense in the dungeons and the escapes going on, the Sark of the Dragon City, under the command of Thalaba the Destroyer, is like, we're going to march to Patanga
Yes.
with Sumia as prisoner, and we're
And
going
also
to...
Karm.
Oh, and Karm, yes, in a
Yes.
different little cabin thing on the back of the giant lizard.
Mhm. As you do.
Yeah, and they march this giant host of multiple cities, and they're going to go there, and they're going to defeat the yellow druids, and then install Sumia as like a satrap puppet to
Mhm.
control Patanga and add it to his empire, which honestly is a solid plan.
Yeah.
Provided he can like maneuver her into ruling for him.
Well, he just has to be mean to her and she'll faint. It's okay.
Oh, fair enough.
Exactly.
But like Thalaba the Destroyer has a good plan here.
Again, totally original OC Thalaba.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so they do this. They're marching and blah, blah, blah. And does Thongor and them see the columns marching?
I think they see some dust in the distance,
Okay.
and they're
yeah,
like, what's that?
He mentions the smoke of the army, which I feel like might have been a reference to Lord of the Rings at this point. But it doesn't matter because what happens next?
The airship starts moving in a direction that they don't want it to go, and no one's at the controls, and the rotors aren't moving, and it's being pulled towards the jungle in a different
It's
direction.
getting tractor beamed away, and Thongor goes to sleep, unable to control it, which might be the first sensible thing that's happened in this book.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, well, you know,
Fuck it.
yeah, I guess we better take a nap because we're going to need our rest because who knows what's going to be at the other end of this thing. And it's like, yeah.
The plot gets railroaded harder than the worst D&D campaign I've ever been in.
Oh, yeah.
I've got three notes here. Then they eat. I'm starting to think all of these action scenes are just excuses for Thongor to get to his next meal and then nap a bit. My next note is the gods have control of the boat until further notice. Suddenly, zombies.
Yes.
The third note is leagues/Vorn. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, because again, he uses those interchangeably.
Yeah, exactly.
So, there is a, like you said, a tractor beam that is pulling the ship because apparently the Erlium, whatever hull is magnetic.
Sure.
This is a new thing. We now know lightning damages it. We also know it's magnetic.
He's world building as he goes.
Yeah, that's
Actually,
fine.
To give credit where credit is due, the magnetic properties of this were established previously.
Were they?
Yeah, I have a note about this actually.
Oh.
From the Attack of the Monster in Yashu Zepchum, the Southern Sea. It says, quote, "If the electric storm had not demagnetized the directional pendulum our friend Sharasha the Wizard installed." This is a quote from Thongor. Okay? Your man's an electrician all of a sudden.
Well, of course.
The wizard taught him.
Literally, a wizard did it.
In the 1.5 days they were together, yeah.
He's a fast learner.
Off screen.
He really is, yeah.
Clearly.
So yeah, they're being pulled towards the jungle, and they're like, "Oh hey, isn't that the ancient legendary city of
Is it? I don't know. Is it?
I think Lin Carter's notes were literally the ancient city of. Oh, that's a good name.
we can't just put We have to change the U. What's another vowel? Yeah. Literally. So they get there and they even get sucked onto the tractor beam because of the weapons and the stuff on their harnesses. And so then zombies are there some reason, and I
literally have no recollection of this sequence. Like, no idea what the fuck happens.
So zombies are there, and they take them to a room that has another dude from the city of because apparently the people didn't die off.
Oh, wait, I remember. Yeah. Got it.
And then they're in this room, and this dude explains to them what the ancient city of has been up to for the past few thousand years.
It's the lost city of Zed, and it's led by a vampire.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a giant vampire king who drains the blood of all his subjects, but he also happens to be a scientist, as we learn later.
And he also slowly drains them so they don't quite die, so that he can eat for longer. That is spookishly interesting. Like, I really like that. That's a great.
It turns the people into like zombies essentially, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Again, Lin Carter's buddy took over the reins and started writing again.
This was another interesting chapter again. Like not as hard hitting as the previous one, not as awesome, over the top awesome, but this was again a good touch.
But again, if he had just written a short story about Thongor being trapped in an ancient vampire city, that would have been a really good short story to read.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Because the zombies actually get described pretty creepily and well, surprisingly enough.
Yep.
The vampire character, I don't remember his name, but he does he comes off interesting, and the whole science versus magic shtick was cool. It will never be referenced again.
No.
Nope.
But it was cool.
Yep.
And see, Thongor is in there in that room as a prisoner, and he's like, okay, when the guards come back to feed us, I will use this magic. Is it like a ring or an amulet or like
I think it's an amulet.
Yeah.
And that Sherry gave me that makes me invisible, which I don't.
That he told me will come into use at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. Because Sherry just knows all things. He could have just been like, hey, you're going to get captured by a vampire king. Wear this when you do. But he has to be mysterious about it.
Yeah. He's obviously testing Thongor after he already saved the world.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's got to make sure that, he's the hero, not just a hero.
Keep him on his leather booted toes. It's fine.
And just to be clear that this part of the chapter was definitely written by Lin Carter. This is the first and last time we will hear about this amulet.
That's fair. They come to grab the prisoner that's with them to be fed to the vampire king. And so he puts on the amulet and he escapes and follows this because he's like, well, I'm going to go see what they're doing to this guy or something or whatever. Yep. And they take him into the room where the vampire king's at, and it seals and stuff, nobody else can get inside. And then it turns out that Thongor was not actually invisible to the vampire king because he senses his presence, and he is able to know who he is and everything because he sees everything that happens in his city, which was really cool.
As you do.
And it burns out the power of the amulet, and with some sort of energy field that he has in the room, and it turns into kind of a pretty dramatic sequence of the vampire king is going to kill Thongor, and Thongor's trying to fight him, but he can't. And doesn't the fat person that's with him, the fat random resident from the city, doesn't he end up saving Thongor?
By the end, I think so. He
we'll get to that in a couple of chapters.
Oh, you're right. At this point, I don't remember the order of all of this garbage. I just have it written down.
I don't know what goes in which bin.
Yeah.
I just know the recycling day's tomorrow, and I got a lot of Lin Carter to get through.
But what we get in this part is not the fight with the vampire. We get the vampire expostulating.
Oh yeah, we got exposition.
Oh yeah, but I don't remember what he says.
Yes. Nobody cares what he says because he's just delivering villain speech at Thongor.
Yes, he tells him of his dark, evil plans.
And come join me on the dark side. Again, we should have got James Earl Jones for this.
We should have. He should have been the Vampire King.
He should have been the Vampire King. Yeah,
it's about the same size.
But he played a much more interesting character instead, so we'll go with that.
That's true.
And Mufasa? Then we cut... Yes. Then we cut from Mufasa the Vampire King to
that's canon.
Sumia and her swooning tits.
Yes.
Yes. So she escapes from the host of the Dragon City army.
Karm frees her, right?
Yes, and they escape. And then they run into a scouting party of yellow druids and are immediately fucking captured again.
Again, exactly. Lin Carter has just a template that he's working off of.
They get ambushed by yellow druids, and Karm gets Benwat over the head.
Yes. It's oh my god.
I also wrote Karm frees the princess because a camp full of soldier is the easiest place to break out of when the soldiers are many and their stupidity multiplies exponentially.
It's a conservation of ninjutsu. We know this trope.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's pretty clear.
He's
And
a
also
hero.
I wrote Lin Carter has a concussion fetish coupled with a woman screaming the hero's name fetish.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is also
So there is that.
an established fact.
Mhm.
And I just also want to insert a note here that we call him Karm.
Mhm.
He is never referred to as Karm. He is always Karm Carvis.
The Southern Sea?
Yeah, which is why I
Yeah.
refer to him as Tars Tarkas, because he's always called Tars Tarkas.
Exactly. It's full name only. Pretty much the only motherfucker in here that doesn't have full name all the time is Thongor and Sumio.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yep.
Yeah, everyone else is full name all the time. Thalaba the Destroyer is always Thalaba the
I think the
Destroyer.
vampire is also like he's got a mononym like Xotham or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something
Maybe.
exotic like that. Exotham.
Exaltic. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. So, my notes for this last whole giant chunk of the book here are very tiny on my outline. Like, I have like 3 sentences left here, guys.
I'm gonna put something in here because I got something. So as they're the Karm Carvis, the Southern Sea, and Sumi are being captured, and Thongor is with Exotham, the exotic Morgulak, I think it's called. I wrote so. First of all, they have had no intercourse with the outer world for a full millennium. For the city of Om, so they've been eaten by this guy for a full 1,000 years. So my extensive note here says, 4 days since leaving Sherry at this point, shipwrecked, bushwhacked, imprisoned like 3 times, escaped whatever many times -1, washed down an underground river, found their lost airboat, found a long lost city, found a relatively recently lost friend, lost a recently found friend alongside a love interest, found a magic invisibility amulet from the most powerful wizard alive, suffered a couple concussions while eating at least a couple hearty meals and one flimsy one at some point. Not a bad go of it overall. So
Thongor
this
has
is-
a more eventful life than Conan the Barbarian, and Conan has a million comics written about him.
This is 4 fucking days, guys. Like, holy shit. Holy fucking shit.
This is beyond absurdity.
Yeah, no, it's...
And he saved the world in 2 weeks before this.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly.
I mean,
He basically lucked into saving the world.
he's just like a Billy Badass.
A hillbilly badass.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I'm just at this point. I feel like the fucking Archie comics have more logic than this fucking book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
We're only missing a dark-haired love interest for Thongor, so we have the. I guess that would be Carb Carpus.
Yeah.
Wait, no,
There's our love triangle.
I thought Sumio had dark hair.
Oh yeah, no, she's dark hair. Sorry, Carb Carpus is the
Oh,
blonde.
Carpus is
Yeah.
blonde, yeah.
Yeah. So we have yeah.
Old Thermos is the... Old Thermostat is the one with black hair, right?
I don't know.
Actually, I think everyone is dark haired in this, but I don't think we have a blonde. And maybe nobody cares.
I
Let's
don't
just
know.
move on.
Just
Fair
yeah. Anyway, the host of the Dragon City folks are laying siege to Patanga. Meanwhile, in Patanga, you have the Yellow Archdruid who is going to marry Sumia to solidify his power as not only like the high priest of the city, but also as the Sark of the city.
Mm-hmm.
And like all of the important people in the city are there, and we get introduced to the names of some characters of people that Sumia knows, like her uncle, insert name here, and the
And her cousin, insert name here.
Yeah, there's like a prince. That's actually Prince Drew. I remember his name. And then like a Lord Baron from this place, and this guy from that place, and they're gonna be like a big ceremony here, and they're also like gonna mount the defense of the city against the dragon people. And do we switch back to Thongor now?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Oh God.
We don't. Oh yes.
Oh shit.
I have a note about this. This is my last note.
Good. I don't know where we're at now.
I have no fucking clue what's going on.
We're going to be in Patanga until the last chapter of this fucking book.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So there's the ceremony with long list of character names that nobody gives a shit about, are not relevant.
Yes.
And they will come back in the third book, but at this point, we don't care who these people are.
No, and they don't matter in the third book either.
Yeah, they'll come back in the same like semi-translucent capacity.
It's like, yeah, Prince Drew I remember because he gets a description in the third book, which I genuinely read over it and I said, yes, because Thongor remembered seeing him like this and like that, and I'm like, I don't fucking remember who this dude is.
Well, Thongor does, okay?
Yeah, that's all that matters.
He remembered something. With all the head trauma he's had, that's pretty impressive.
That might be the most unrealistic thing about this book at this point.
Easily.
Yeah. Let's just get through this chapter, shall we?
Yeah, okay. I don't know what's happening here. So, do they start the wedding ceremony?
Okay, so they threaten her with the thing over there. They start some kind of gathering of all the nobles to announce the wedding. I don't think he even gets a chance to announce it.
You're right.
And then suddenly war horns, army, smoke in the distance, whatever the fuck.
All of that bullshit.
Yeah. And
they have to defend the walls.
They have to defend the walls. It's Helm's Deep all over again.
Man the walls.
Yeah.
And woman in the basements.
Woman. Bloody hell. The guy I remember had a... You push my funny bone button. Is it either the druid or the Sark, or again, nobody gives a shit, says to Sumia, so you come to us at the head of an invading army, you traitor. I'm like, motherfucker, how? From where? From when? No.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. And at this point, they're on the walls, and I don't know if your memory comes back at this point.
Somewhat, yeah. They have, something that they're going to drop onto the enemy army. It's like a super weapon that's going to just obliterate them. Yeah. It's like a smoke inside of a ball that, kind of hangs low, and it just, they have poison gas. This is World War One.
This is Ypres, and we are about to get introduced to it.
I wrote Vaspas Ptal, which is the guy's name, has some black cigar smoke that drives people mad, so he's not afraid of no army at his gates, and still wants to wed Sumia.
Yes.
We get a demonstration of the gas, because it turns a guy into a rage monster zombie situation.
Yeah, and then they just kill him to put him out of his misery.
Yeah,
pretty much.
And once again, we get introduced to a remarkable plot device that will have no fucking consequence to the story whatsoever.
Yep.
Yeah. So then, the hosts of the Dragon City attack the walls, and they start dropping these super weapons, don't they?
Mm-hmm. No.
They're about to. Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
He raises his sword to give the the order to launch the smoke bombs, and what should fucking happen?
Every piece of metal ever in this whole city and the battlefield
and the world, one would assume,
just floats up in the air.
Magnetism. Insert ancient alien guys here.
Pretty much. And a battle ensues. We don't care. It's boring, much like the rest of the book. the battle is fisticuffs essentially.
Yeah, it's like mass chaos. Like their not horses start freaking out, and
Yeah.
They're not horses.
Horses.
I love that.
And
Exactly.
then like the people in the city like rebel against the yellow druids because the druids are unarmed now, and
Yeah, because that was fucking stopping him.
Yeah.
yeah, and they overthrow
Thalaba gets done
everything.
dirty.
Yeah.
Poor Falaba.
Yeah, and my note here, which at this point we still don't actually know what's happening, but we all know what's happening, is that our hero saves the day off screen.
Of course.
And it is at this point, in the middle of this melee, that we cut back to flashback of Thongor escaping the vampire.
Oh my god, that's right. I
Yeah.
put it in the logical place
No.
where it should happen. But
You
that's not what
fool.
he does.
No.
Nope.
So yeah, now I go back up to where I had written that the prisoner and Thongor are able to slay the vampire king. Oh god.
So fucking stupid.
I got
and
I got
then-
nothing at this point.
We're at the very end of the book here. And Thongor
Uh-huh.
lands and blah blah blah. And then Sumia proposes to Thongor.
Oh,
Yes.
fucking
And-
feminism.
And then they're wed, and it makes him the new Sark. And his
Yes,
first
which everybody
command-
instantly accepts.
Oh yeah,
And
Just
away goes the
no
feminism
questions
instantly.
asked. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
It was there for like a second. It's fine.
yeah.
Because she literally says, this is a man's job. I'm just a woman. I can't lead a city.
Well, there you go.
Let this dipshit I picked up off the street with his fucking iron thews and big dick, let him rule the
A
city. 'Cause I
random barbarian from the Northlands who has no leadership skills.
can't.
She's there to swoon and look pretty, and she's all out of swoon.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. And I had another note about when the guy, quote unquote, threatens to marry her, right?
Mhm.
And she says, "I am betrothed to another," and apparently, the law in Lemuria says if you've got the hots for someone, you're already engaged. Because at no point did they discuss
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
like
yeah.
this.
Fair
Well,
enough.
You see,
Fair enough.
she is a princess, and she decided that she wanted Thongor, so therefore he was hers.
Fucking Disney
Correct.
princess.
And
Yeah.
and then all of that agency and chutzpah gets bonked the fuck out of her as soon as they get married.
Yeah.
Because she reverts to NPC mode for the remainder of book 3.
Yes. So then Thongor's first act as the new Sark is
Mhm.
to outlaw the cult of the Yellow Druids
As you do.
and to exile them and the leaders of the Dragon City's host, and then install all his friends as leaders of the Dragon City areas.
Fucking nepotism.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, no. Just being
Yeah,
facetious at this point, but
Oh yeah.
I've got more issues with him just instantly assuming command and barking
Yeah.
orders than anything.
And then we are finally done with book 2.
with this fucking book.
Fuck's
I
sake.
swear, I said it ends like someone's shitty D&D adventure, because at this point, again, it's like that epilogue point where, and you, the level 15 fighter, now get to be prince of this city.
In
And
fact,
I guess, yeah.
he's not just the leader of that city. He's a Sarkasia, I think it is, or a Sarkon. A Sarkon.
Sarkon.
He's a sarcophagus, is what he
He's
is.
a Sarkon because now he's an emperor, not a king. He controls like 3 cities.
Uh-huh. Instant upgrade. Just for some fucking reason.
There's no discussion on like surrender terms of like now
No.
you're subject to me. It's just I'm installing my people as leaders of your city, and now you owe tribute to me.
There's also a line that after so many years of wild wandering in lonely lands, he had come home about Thongor, and I wrote, "Bitch, this whole thing happened in like 2 weeks. That line has no value to the reader."
And also, how the fuck is this home for him because
Yeah, no.
he's just got here.
Home is
He
where the
also-
heart is.
He hates civilization.
Yeah.
He's a king of a city and an emperor of an empire.
Yep.
I also put down Alt Thermos has a mid-mercenary life crisis that's straight out of a direct-to-DVD film. I don't remember anything. Like, I made the note. I have no idea what it's about, though.
I do remember that happening.
Something
Also,
something happens.
don't remember what happens.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't come back in the next book.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does eventually.
At
the end, yeah.
I don't remember. I do
All right,
not
so
remember.
a side note here, guys. I think I'm gonna have to go at this point
Oh, we're gonna have to.
because we kind of went long.
We did.
We
yeah.
did. We
for
spent all this time talking about the whole only one book.
Yeah,
Oh,
we've been
boy.
on it for like almost 2 hours now. It's 1:40 recording.
Yeah,
So
it's a bit much.
Oh
I
boy.
guess we now have to do another podcast on book 3.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll try and keep it short because book 3 is the worst of the
by
three
far.
by far.
Yeah,
Are we
there's
in
not.
agreement?
There's not a lot to talk about in book 3.
Yeah.
I
There's
have
not a lot of redeeming anything about book 3.
I have fewer notes on book 3 than I had for the entire last half of this book.
Yeah, same. This was I was really getting into it because of the Nurgling chapter.
Yeah.
So I kept taking notes, but yeah, those evaporated in book 3
Pretty fucking much.
like completely.
I have a lot of notes on book 3, but all my notes on book 3 are me asking a question
Just
And-
raging.
and raging. Yes,
Fair enough.
that's all it is.
Okay.
Because it is terrible. But
It-
then I guess we're coming back for episode 3 with more fucking Thongor.
Shall I do the wrap up for the thing?
Please do.
Sure.
All right, that's about all we have for today. We hope to have you here next time. If you want to follow the page and keep up with the nonsense, you'll find all relevant links in the description below. Thanks for tuning in and have as nice a day as you deserve.
We are so sorry.
Yeah.
Lin Carter should be.